Welcome to Champagne Sunday. I'm Lauren.
Hey, I'm Bonnie.
I'm Beth.
And we're going to talk about life
After divorce.
And living
The best life.
and the life you love.
Yes, living the life you love on that other side.
Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome. All right, ladies. So tonight we're talking about the fabulous question, now that we are single, does marriage, again, have to be our goal?
I would say no.
That's a hard no for me.
It does not have to be. I think, luckily we are blessed to live in this day and age. We don't have to get married in order to support ourselves or our children. We can earn our own money, make our own decisions.
Have a credit card.
Since
Thanks to the
1974.
Yeah, we can do it. Well, okay, here,
An appendage for
I
a man.
just heard, and I haven't checked the facts, that women could not get a business loan until the 80s.
87 or 88.
Isn't that crazy?
True? Not without a co-sign. Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodness.
So we've come a long way, ladies.
Yeah.
I mean, I
So
just
I
can't
think-
even imagine being held under those constraints, even at 50, 53.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't imagine someone telling me I couldn't do
I
something.
don't think after divorce, if you've been married, I don't even know what it's like for short-term people, but after 21 years of marriage, I don't feel like that is a number one goal for me to get married. And I will tell this story. I don't know if I've told it before. If I have, cut me off. But after I got divorced, I talked to my daddy, my sweet daddy, his Baptist deacon for years and Sunday school superintendent. And I called him and said, Daddy, I just don't think I want to date. I don't think I ever want to get married. I think I'm kind of ruined for that. I said, what would you think if I just had like a friend, a companion? There was a big, long pause on the other end of the phone. I was thinking, there's my sweet daddy, 1953. I don't know how he's going to take that. And he said, well, I think that's a great idea. And I was like, I was the one going, did he just say that? But I think, things have changed. And now that women can support themselves and have jobs, and there are a lot of us out there.
Well,
And, there's a whole new line of thinking on, do you have to get married?
Yeah, yeah.
What?
Now you to have a partner, your
Yeah.
partner should be bringing more to your life than you
Yeah.
are already providing yourself. That they should be adding to your life, not sucking out of it. I
Yeah.
guess really is kind of what that's saying. And I think it's a really new concept. And I'm not sure the men my age have really caught on yet, but
I
maybe.
don't think they have, because I think a lot of men, and this is just my personal dating experience, want to look at you and say, if you're even in their age range, which that might not happen, say, what do you bring to the table? And I want to look back at them and say, whoa, what are you bringing to the table?
Yeah, it's a different.
I
Mindset.
think it's a whole different way of thinking.
Well, and I think from our experience, at least,
Our collective experience.
yes, our collective experience, marriage doesn't equal commitment. It just doesn't. It in our experience, it equals contract, but not commitment.
Yes.
That can be broken
And-
should one party decide
Right.
and not have to tell
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
And you can be committed. Like I am, again, I have been with my partner for a while now, and I feel I'm in a committed relationship. I don't really feel the need to be more than in a committed relationship. I don't know if I'll ever feel like that. That doesn't mean necessarily to say like if the person I was with, if that was valuable to them,
Right.
then I might.
Yeah.
But
But-
it's not your goal.
But for me, it's not no. I don't have like some fiery reason to do that.
right.
I have some friends who are in domestic partnerships or
Mhm.
civil unions,
Yeah.
and that gives you a lot of the same kind of rights to I think that's the biggest thing is the rights to each other. You know what I mean? Like if you want to,
Yeah, to legally be their next of kin.
legally be your next of kin. That is
Yeah.
the bigger issue to me. But
I think right after I was divorced, I was still stuck in the mindset that I was supposed to be married. grew up and that's all I ever wanted was to be a wife, to have that other person who felt like the other half of me and to have the family unit. That's all I really ever wanted for the basis of my life. And so when I first divorced, I felt like I needed to start dating. I needed to try and find that again.
Mm.
And I did. There was one person that I was like, okay, I can totally see myself in a marriage with this person because I believed that person truly understood me and got me and cared and loved me in a way that I would have treasured for the rest of my life. Now, it turns out that was a farce and it was not at all something I should have believed in. But and after that, what I have experienced since the end of that relationship is that I really like being with myself.
Mm.
I am, for the first time in my life, don't feel like I have to have another person in my space. I don't have to have anybody else. That is no longer, for some reason, that one relationship broke that as a goal for me.
Okay, let me ask you this question. And this is to you, Lauren, too.
Mhm.
Bonnie and I grew up, we're closer in age. And so I think in our collective generations, you had the Disney princesses getting married and you had the Prince Charming and you didn't have as many options as far as careers, really. It was just starting to open up for my age group. And there was an emphasis on finding the right man and finding the right neighborhood and first starter home and all those things that seem to be of ultimate importance, which I don't know that your generation, because you're younger than us, actually grew up with that. I think you grew up with higher expectations for yourself.
I will say, my parents, they were divorced. It was very. I had a bit of a tumultuous upbringing. They're wonderful people individually, but it was a ride. But what they both did was promote education, like get a good education, get a job. Like neither of them ever said, my father or my mother never said to me, you need to get married.
Well, see, my parents never did either. My parents put education at the forefront. I did it to myself.
Yeah.
So see, I think the same way. I had very lofty educational goals, and my parents definitely brought me up to be very independent, be an independent thinker, know how to do a variety of skills, and they made sure that I knew how to do everything by myself. But at the same time, there was an undercurrent of
this is what's supposed to happen.
You will be somebody's wife.
Yes.
And we put money aside for a marriage. And
it was, it was never said. It was like this unspoken expectation, not necessarily by my parents, but by,
I think it's by
society. Like I felt like that was what was supposed to happen.
Yeah. So I think our age difference is a different thing. And
I didn't feel that nearly as much. I actually had a reunion with my college friends. We talked about this maybe on an episode.
Yeah.
With my college theater friends about a month ago, I guess it's been. And we sat down and I haven't seen some of them in 15 years. And one of my friends looked at me and she goes, and many of us don't have kids or we just have one child, like most of us, or we're not partnered at all, or everybody's kind of very doing their own thing. And she looked at me, she has a oneling and I have a oneling. And she said, I think that it's wild that the two of us have children at all. And I said, no, I know. She was like, I would never have guessed that you and I would both have kids. And we just didn't, that wasn't on my radar. Because when I was that age, what was on my radar was, I've got this theater career. I've got this stuff that I'm doing. I didn't really, that wasn't really my goal. And I mean, like, let me state, like, I love my child. I wouldn't change a thing about my life, but it was just a surprising.
It wasn't what you
it wasn't at all what I was what I grew up to do.
So, and I wonder if I would have had more of Lauren's attitude if the career I had chosen to go into had been art.
Yeah.
Instead of something,
your soul.
Yes. And granted, being an English teacher fed my soul in a lot of ways, but it's not the same. It's not I was able to be creative, but it wasn't my creative passion. So if I had turned that somehow into a career, I wonder if my goals would have been, if I'd have focused more on that.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
But I was just saying that to say that I think now that I am single and I really like being single, my views of, I don't want to say my worth, but sort of my I guess, the undercurrent of my worth. Do you know what I'm saying? Not really my worth, but my expectation of what my life was going to look like is radically different than it was at 24 or 30.
I would say, despite the fact that I got married and had a child, I don't know if at any point in my life I would identify myself first as a wife and mother ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, those are not my identifiable things. I'm Lauren. I'm an artist. I'm a, but those are things that happened to me also.
See, and I gave up a lot of my identity.
Yeah.
To be a wife and mother.
I did
and
too.
To put 100% into that.
Well, and
I gave up dental school. I gave up a lot of my dream of who I wanted to be as a person, like a working, functioning, productive person. I gave up a lot of that.
But
and that was important to me, and it's still important to me to be a good mother. But I just think the wife part and the whole, I won't say the bill of goods that I was sold, but it kind of feels like that you will get married. And I had the whole dream of the person that I'm married to would be as attached to me and devoted to me and loyal to me as I was. And I think I don't want to say that because he wasn't, it ruined me, but it did sort of tarnish that whole, this is who I am, and this is what I'm doing, and this is what I did, and I did a good job at it. It kind of tarnished a little bit of how I felt about the life that I had built.
Mm-hmm.
And that was centered around my marriage. It was centered around marriage and the person that I married. But now my life is more centered around me, my job, my house, my children, of course, my friends. It's more
art.
And my art, but it's more of me, like the essence of me. It's not the total package of me yet, because I haven't gotten quite to that point.
I feel like I had some lost years, you know what I mean, of not quite being myself and trying to. Actually, we talked about this a little bit, and I think we talked about this at one point. We were talking about supposed tos.
Yes,
but I think I functioned for a long time in this, like, what I thought Lauren was supposed to be doing, or this, and I'm a square peg. Like if I can't do my own thing, I'm so uncomfortable. It makes me so uncomfortable. But when I can just be myself and I'm comfortable being myself, I'm great. I can do whatever. Yeah. But it's just certain expectations make me feel, no, this is kind of cringy. You know what I mean?
Well, okay. On that kind of note, this is where I go with that. I am very comfortable with my life. My life is pretty full. I mean, I have a lot in my life, and I'm embracing my artistic side and, my friends, and I put a lot more emphasis on my health and sleep and children, spending as much time as I can with them. I really wonder, this is going to sound terrible, do I even have space for somebody? I would like to say that I have space.
You would make space for someone that you felt a connection with, someone that interested you.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? I think that just like you will go and spend money on a new stitching pattern, a new stitching canvas that you really want to do, and you'll find the time to work on it. If somebody...
Beth, can I tell you how I know that? I used to do every show I could do to not be at home. Or like after the show, I would do whatever I could to not be at home. And now I'm like, oh, I have rehearsal. That's going to mean I can't talk to
your person.
My boyfriend tonight. Like, that means we're not gonna be able to hang out. Or like, I'm like, okay, I'm off work now, we can go. Like, that's who I want to decompress with,
right?
So yeah,
I guess I don't have a vision of that yet,
I think because you haven't met the person yet.
Yeah,
that would inspire that.
That's true. I am not inspired.
Yes, well, that's okay. Y'all at least knew who you were before you got married. I look back and think I did not. Like, I graduated from college one weekend, and exactly 4 weeks later, I got married. Like, there was actually, it wasn't even 4 weeks. So I mean, 22? I got like 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. Well, I was 23 because it took me an extra year. But so it took me, so I never had that time really on my own to figure out who I was and what I wanted and what was important to me. I was checking boxes.
Yeah.
Graduated. Check. Get married. check. Move in with him, check. All of those things. And so now on this side of divorce, I feel like all of a sudden I am that young person again with the opportunity to figure out who I am, what I want, what's important to me, and try and strive and go for those, what I thought were just impossible goals. Wouldn't even think about doing art and making that a real thing in my life. That would just be a hobby because, there's no way anybody would pay attention to me with that because I never took long enough to think about it. Well, now I am an artist and I do sell my art and I'm doing fairly well at working on changing it up. But it just, I don't know. I think divorce has provided me divorce and having that last relationship sort of tear down that wall of expecting a family for me to include a man in it. Tearing that wall down has afforded me this beautiful time to be single and get to know myself. And I may end up someday with someone, find someone. And I hope that I do. But I want to make sure this will be the only time I'm single. And I don't want to waste it. I want to make sure I'm exploring everything I can while I can stay up till 3:00 in the morning because I'm the only person here working on an art project. I can leave my room a mess.
But,
you know what I mean?
But can I tell you that? With the right person, those things don't matter.
That's true.
With the right person,
you
can stay up till 3:00 in the morning.
And I can explore whatever I want. Yeah.
Because they know that that's who you are and they're okay with who you are. Like, that is a wild
and I don't have an experience with someone who gives me that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been married or in a relationship with a best friend.
That's what I think too.
Yeah.
I have not experienced that. I thought they were my best friend, but really now what I've come to realize through thousands of dollars of therapy is that I don't think the person I was married to even liked me, much less bothered to get to know who I actually was. I think I looked good as a package and I checked off his boxes.
I agree, Beth. I think the person I was married to admired me, but I don't think he liked me.
Well, I think the person that I married, the man that I married when I married him, I think he admired how I did things and that I was self-sufficient and I could do things. And I think he didn't take the time to get to know me. And when he had to get to know me because we were married and was living with me, the extrovert and I'm good at a lot of things. Honestly, this will sound terrible, but I don't think he liked living with the person that made a lot of friends. And I don't think he liked living with the person that didn't say, honey, can you do this for me? I just did it. I think he liked that he didn't have to pay somebody to come to his house to paint his house. But at the same time, I feel like he had some resentment that I could do things well.
Do you think it just sort of, he took a hit to his masculinity every time you did something?
Yeah.
My ex told me one time that I had qualities he wished he had.
That's generous.
That he
said that.
Yeah. This was, but
back when things were good.
Yeah.
But I think when you do that, when you have somebody that's good at things that you wish you were good at, sometimes it does. I think after 21 years, there was a lot of resentment.
Right. But I never thought that about him. Do you know what I mean?
I didn't think that about mine either.
And now, I'm not, the person I'm with is just my best buddy. Like, we have the best talks, like the most fun. And I've never had that before. It's
well, if I
very
could have
different.
that, if I could have a best friend who supported me and liked me for me,
and pushed me to do better and be my best self,
I would not need a piece of paper.
Yeah. Instead of tearing me down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say that I might need a piece of paper, but it's more of a religious thing.
Well, I don't
than anything else.
I don't feel
just
that need necessarily. But I mean, it's just a different. I don't know. I feel in a very different world, I guess, today. But also, can we just talk about a little bit about the fact that we're caught up on women feeling like they have the role of wife and mother, like that was what you did with your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And do we really think that men ever go, "Well, I was a father"?
I think some people are. My brother is a fabulous father. He wakes up every day to think how he can be a better father.
Is like, I'm a father.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and I think in my ex-husband, that is That is what he wanted.
Mhm.
He really wanted
I say this
to
out of,
be a good father.
I don't say this out of snarkiness. It is genuine curiosity.
Yeah. My ex-husband wanted that to be his identifier. He just couldn't pull it off because he was sick,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know, but he really wanted, that was the one thing that alcoholism truly affected that just absolutely broke his heart and tore him up, was that he knew it kept him from being a good father.
Well,
And that hurt him.
I will say that my first ex, that I had a very tiny marriage to, that I guess practiced marriage right out of college, he is a good father. He turned out to be an excellent father, and he made that his role too. He even retired early to be the dad. But I think there are men out there. I think, just like I always say, there's nobody out there. And then I see that there are plenty of people out there. I think it's tainted. My view of that is
I feel
tainted
like
because that's not what I
I
have.
feel like so many women feel like that's their life. Like that's their identifiable thing that you did, was that you were a wife and mother, or
Mm-hmm.
and that's not, like, at the end of your life is that, and I don't mean this negatively or
No, I know what you mean.
But-
But that was their
that
purpose.
was the thing you did. That was the thing
Yeah.
you did. And how many men say that the thing they did in their life was that they were a father?
Well, and so for so many men, their job and what they accomplish, I think that, and probably for some women,
provider.
but I know that for
There's more.
men, not even being a provider, but leaving some sort of legacy,
Yeah.
leaving some part of them behind to continue to go on. And I think children are a part of that, and their hyper focus on work and stuff is a part of that. And I think women, some of us have that too. But at this stage in my life, I'm not done. I guess you're never done being a mom, but
No.
it is no longer my top role. It is,
Mhm.
yes, son, I'm so happy you're getting married. It is, you know what I mean? Like it is not my top role.
It's not active.
Yes, I'm
It's
trying.
you have a passive role.
I have a
as
passive
well.
role in my
Yeah.
children's life. That's a very good way to put
No,
it.
yeah.
So finding that place in this empty nest place of who I truly am and what's important to me in creating this life around that. And now I would love to have a partner that stepped in
Mm-hmm.
and was a part of this with me, but it's just so hard for me to imagine that best friendness,
My mom only ever got to be with her
soulmate person.
soulmate person in her 50s. I mean, it's
Yeah.
been 10 years or so, I guess, that they got together. And I don't, like, they've had this beautiful life together. This,
Yeah.
like, they are best friends, and they do whatever they want. Like, and I don't know what it would have looked like for them if they had raised kids together. I've thought that
Yeah.
before. So,
That's true.
Sometimes you can have this whole other part of your life too,
Yeah.
Well, I think just
Because
being open
child
to-
rearing, I mean, look, I'm not going to, child rearing is difficult. Raising
It's
a
Yes.
a
kid
full-time job.
is hard.
It is a
It is a
full-time
full-time
job.
job.
And I can see how in past generations that was your
Yeah.
job, even though you didn't get paid for it and you didn't get any
Well,
kind of
and I mean,
appreciation for it. It's a full-time job.
I'm over here, and luckily I'm a college professor, so like I go to work and my kid can hang out in the green room sometimes. Like he can
Yeah.
just be
Yeah.
there.
And you're not there for like 10 hours at a time.
No, right.
Unless you have
can-
rehearsal.
Yeah, unless I have rehearsal. And so it's relatively flexible, but he came with me today and he's like, I'm bored. What do I do? And I'm like, okay, I need to make sure that he has something to do.
Well, but at the
Like in
same
the summer.
time, it's okay for a kid to be bored.
Yeah.
That's a part of
No,
being a kid too.
I just mean it's frustrating at work.
yes. yeah.
I'm not frustrated about it at the house.
Yeah.
But at work, I'm like, all right, dude.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're going to be in my building, like, let's do something.
Well, my thing is kind of at almost to the passive motherhood role,
Mm-hmm.
because I have one that is going to be a senior in high school, and that'll be changing. But my main focus in my life my main goal right now is not to find a partner to be a part of a
No.
couple. My main goal is to hang out and be an interesting person and get educated
Yeah.
as much as I can on all the weird stuff I want to learn before
Yeah.
it's too late for me to learn.
Yeah.
I just
I
want
feel
to
that.
keep growing as a person and keep investigating all the stuff I put on hold for those 21 years. I want to do it, and I want to live life to the full.
And I'm like, my son is 10, and I'm like, okay, reasonably, I have 8 more years with him in the house. I need to be like as focused on what I can do with him as I can. And I do. I spend lots of time with him. But the fun stuff is just in stolen moments because I work.
Yeah.
a lot.
But
You know?
you're making an effort, and some people
Oh,
don't even do
I
that.
just have to
Lauren,
I just have to
so,
figure it
you
out.
know.
But that I still don't feel like it's good enough. You know what I mean? But when we talked about this before, but it's woman pressure. It's
It is.
female
There's a
pressure.
lot of
Yeah.
pressure.
Yeah.
So
Well,
'Cause I-
y'all
'cause I
can
like-
look on the bright side. I've
I
already
took it-
been through my Martha Stewart phase, so y'all don't even have to complain.
well, he came to
Thank
work.
goodness.
Like my son came to work with me today, and he was like, "Oh, I'm bored, mommy. I'm bored." And I was like, "Look, I have to meet with a student, and then just like go to the green room and do whatever." The green room is where actors hang out before they go on the stage. Just FYI. And that's generally where my son does his stuff if he's at the school with me. He just kind of chills in there and does homework or reads or whatever. So, but today he was
Well, there's no
just
homework to be
complaining.
had.
There's no homework. There's nothing to do. And so he's complaining about being bored. I told my boyfriend that, and he was like, "He's got an iPad. Just give him an iPad. Does he know how lucky he is?" I'm like, "But it's 5 hours or
Yeah.
of
It's
just
too much.
whatever." So anyway, I'm trying to figure
Maybe move his
that out.
Legos up there.
Hmm?
Move his Legos
Yeah, just
up there.
transfer the Legos over.
Well, I think as far as marriage goes, I definitely have a much different view of what I guess really, and part of my struggle has been I cannot see my future. I
You're not
cannot
supposed
picture
to.
it. Well, but I spent my whole life going, I know it's
I
coming
don't see
next. I
my
know it's
future.
coming next.
I don't see mine either.
Well, but I can't say, I know I will be married. That's my goal. I know, like, I can't picture what my life will look like in 10 years because I don't know if there'll be a partner in it or not, which truly actually just makes me focus on my here and now,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
good. You know, I know what it'll look like if I'm single, but you know, it's just been a little bit
No,
strange.
You don't know what it'll look like if you're single.
I assume it'll look a lot like this, only with more art.
But what if something new happens or
Yeah.
like you just never know what
You
the
don't
day
know. I just
you
want to
don't
be
know
open.
you do
Everything.
not know where
Yes.
the day is going to take you ever.
Nothing.
And if you just walk through, like I brought them up earlier, but I went to school. I was really fortunate to go to college with a group of people who are very much yes people. And when I saw them a few weeks ago, we just walked into whatever the yes was. And that is the best feeling of just, here's the day. Where does it take
And I'm
us?
gonna-
And here's what we're going to
I
do.
think I mentioned.
And it is a magical feeling to not give too much to years you don't even know if you're going to have.
That's true.
Like, what if we don't have them?
But I want to do.
You know, my therapist says that all the time.
I want to do the year of yes.
Yeah.
That's going to be my next thing besides the back to back birds. So
Yeah, and I have done sort of a year of yes in the past, and it has been really good. It has taught me that I don't need to say yes to everything because I need to protect some of my time for my own things in my house, my own things, my own artistic things. And when I say yes to everyone, to everything, I lose that time. But when I was struggling to be social, I started saying yes to everything.
No.
And that was helpful.
Social yeses are different from work yeses because
That's true.
if you're saying yeses to volunteer for things that you should actually be getting paid to do,
no.
that's different.
No. That is not the year of yes I'm talking about. I'm talking about the year of yes, like, do you want to have an art studio for a year?
Yes.
Can you afford it? Maybe not. But we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we are doing that.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes. We said yes.
We
Like
said
crazy
yes.
people. We said yes. But like, do you want to go on an adventure? Yes. Do
Yes.
you want to learn a new skill? Yes. Do you want to learn about bourbon and do the bourbon trail? Yes.
Sure.
Do you want to learn how to stack a
I want to do
stone
the
wall?
bourbon trail.
Yes.
I want to do the bourbon trail.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you want to have
a podcast?
monthly
Do I have a podcast?
spontaneous things that happen during the month?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to go to Dîner en Blanc?
Yes. See?
I mean, yes. I
So
agree
we're
with all
doing
that.
those things. Fun,
But I also-
adventurous,
and
learning
part
things.
of it
But
also
not
is
things that you don't want to do.
No.
No, not
Or
work.
that you
It's
should
not
be
work.
getting paid to do.
No. It's not
Yeah.
work. It's how to enrich your life, say yes, make friends. Yes.
and do things you're
Learn new
interested
things.
in.
Yes.
Because if we're going to meet, let's just say, someone to date out in the wild, not artificially on the
Which
apps.
is better because of pheromones. If you
Yes.
haven't listened,
So if we're going to meet somebody out in the wild, the chances are we'll meet someone with similar interests if we meet them while we're doing things we enjoy doing.
yes,
That's
which
true.
is how I've met every partner I ever had.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah, you're saying yes.
So
We're
'Cause
gonna.
I did
we're gonna do a
online dating.
segment on the.
I did
yes.
the social dating or whatever it was one time, and do you know who they gave me? The equivalent of my ex-husband.
Ah, there you go.
And I was like, all right, well, clearly this looks good on paper, and I'm
Now,
running away.
I have met people that I think are great friends on the online dating, but I just haven't met anybody who's knocked my socks off necessarily.
Pheromones are real.
Well, I
Listen to that.
I do want to get my socks knocked off. but
Different, but in a different way. That
That's a completely different podcast.
that Arthur
Ben.
Brooks book that I recommended
Oh,
a
yeah.
few back, How to Be Happy. It's something about how to be happy. Anyway, that he talks about that. He talks about the fact that like online dating is just an algorithm for you to be similar with somebody, and that doesn't work because you really. I mean, similar interests are fine, but there's some opposite things that need to happen in
Yes.
order
you
for
need to have a
connections
little
make.
yin for the yang.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
So
fine.
we'll see.
Anyway,
Well,
but
I love my life right now, but I do want to explore other things that I'm interested in.
I just
and
want to
things
have
that are
more money to
interesting.
travel. I don't. I've got to figure that out.
Yes, I need.
It is my.
I need a
That
better
is my
side
thing
hustle.
that I'm.
I've
That
got,
I
got
really
a couple
want to do.
extra
I'm
ski
so.
masks.
Yeah.
I'm so stir crazy to go somewhere, and I just looked at everything, and I just can't go anywhere until I'm at a certain spot. I just
Yeah.
have to. Do
Well, and
that.
that's I
In and do
this wedding is knocking me back a little bit, and I'm still a little knocked back from going out of the country last year. And it's I can't even think about it because it means I'm not really going to do any sort of those big adventures. But that's a part
but
of life.
you can
is
do
figuring
little
out.
adventures.
Well, I can do little adventures, and I can really enjoy the art process and the things that I need to do to make
Yeah.
that more lucrative for me.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's kind of what I've been doing, and looking at it, I think I've got a year of sitting pretty still,
yeah,
and that's okay.
yeah. But
But
see,
you know what? That's my
that's-
theory. You can do anything for a year.
that's how she talked me into doing
And, like,
the art.
And I'm
studio.
also. I'm
justified me doing it.
I'm also coming at it from a place of extreme privilege where I've been able to go the places that I wanted
Yeah,
because
that's true.
my parents saw value in travel.
Yes,
And then as a result, I saw value in that. And like,
yes.
so I'm at a privileged spot that some people don't know.
No, that's true. My
So-
parents gave me the gift of travel as well. They gave me the gift of travel as an adult. That, we didn't go as many places when I was a kid, but as an adult, they took my whole family places out of the country. And it truly, I have the bug.
What's
Well,
I
I
love
got
it.
that from my mom, who was a stewardess and took me
No,
everywhere.
my dad or my mother has wanderlust, but my mom took us lots of places, but my dad saw the value in it, and anytime it popped up for me, he gave me that opportunity.
Well, and I
So
try to
that's-
push my kids. My son went to Africa.
Yeah.
My daughter's going to Spain. And my other son, I hope at some point an opportunity comes up for him, but he is really a homebody. He's not interested in necessarily going out as many places as my other two. But I really, if it comes up, I want them to do it.
Yeah.
It's always good to see that, how other people live in other cultures.
Yeah.
This is a little veer from the path,
It
but
was.
Okay, back to marriage.
you don't have to get married to travel. Like you can travel with your buddies,
No.
which
Yes.
is normally what I travel with students a lot. Like we
Well,
go
my
to,
daughter and I are the ones who went to Italy
Yeah.
together last year, Italy and
So-
Germany.
And my
then
daughter and I are
my
leaving
sister over there.
in 2
Yeah.
weeks to go.
Yeah, and y'all are going. So I think
We're
it's just
excited.
yeah. And there's a lot of people who solo travel.
well, and I would say like the biggest difference, my boyfriend and I, we are two peas in a pod, except he's a stayer and I'm a goer. I love to go and he wants to be home. So at some point, like, I mean, a friend of mine, actually my hairstylist, calls that the price of admission. Like
Yeah.
everything else is perfect. So like, this is the price of
This
admission.
is what you paid.
So, you just figure out other people to go places with. And usually it's my gay husband. I do have one gay husband.
Well, but but being grown up enough, I guess, I had to save for a minute.
Yeah.
to go to Italy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna have to
But
say
there's beauty
for
in that.
2 or 3
It makes-
minutes
it
to
makes
go
it-
anywhere else. It's gonna
it
be a
makes
couple
it
of
skin
years,
in
maybe
the
a few
game.
years. Yeah.
If you have skin in the game, it makes it a little
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
But it's important enough to me to do that. But all right, back to marriage. Do you have to be married? Not have to. Do you think it is necessary to live a full life
No.
now?
No,
No.
not at all.
Can you be just as happy being single?
I think this is kind of interesting because you know what just popped into my mind? I wonder what a single man would say about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question.
Should we have a divorced man on the
We
podcast?
should have a divorced man
Honey,
on the
should.
podcast.
That's a good idea. We haven't even talked about that.
No, well, I've kind of floated
Oh.
the idea.
Have you?
Yeah, we need to find. Yeah, we need to.
I got
pull our
one. I have a
people.
good
Okay,
idea.
Great,
I have a good idea, actually.
because it would be interesting to see.
I think we should get
what do
one
men
of each
think?
age group because I think that's interesting to me
Yeah.
too. Because even from the marriage thing, between our age groups, we have a little.
Yeah, would it
different.
be different? Yeah,
I wonder if it'd be different, like from a young person, like your age group or
I
younger.
love that
and
you're
mine.
calling me a young person.
Thank you. I'm decrepit. It's okay.
you are not.
No, you are not at
Good
all.
night. No.
What was that I used to do?
Oh, that's funny. Well, that's like you calling your son in the airport this week. You're here to tell the story.
Nope.
All right, so Beth went to go pick up her son at the airport.
Oh yeah.
And she had parked over in the parking deck and she saw him come out and she did her incredibly high pitched whistle. And he immediately knew who it was, raised his hand and went directly to her. And some man standing next to her was like, wow,
That was impressive.
that was impressive.
Well, my friends thought it was terrible when I raised my children on dog whistles, but let me tell you, it has come in handy. I do a little.
Yeah, see, isn't that, see, I think that's
And I can
correct.
be anywhere in the crowd and their heads will snap around to see where I am.
Yeah, see?
My mother
Yeah.
didn't have to do that because she was a Yankee in Decatur, Alabama, and all she had to do was say our names.
And everybody's
You
looking
could
at her.
pick out her voice everywhere because she didn't have the Southeast. She
didn't
didn't
have the
speak in the
Southeast
Southeast
drawl.
voice at
Oh, have the drawl
all.
for me
yeah,
down here?
she had Midwestern. So
How
Yeah.
funny.
that was pretty funny.
All right, well, I think we're all pretty pleased with our non-married lives at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, that's subject to change.
I'm
If
good.
I ever
and I
date
think-
somebody,
and-
I
but
have to-
I'm good either way. Like, I feel good either
And
way.
I think even if I find a person, I'm not going to be itching to get married quickly at all. It'll be a long time before I decide that might be even halfway a good idea. I just can't imagine myself wanting to jump into that again.
well, I'm not going to jump in. I did that last time.
Yeah.
I'm going to test the waters and wait a little bit, see how it feels.
Well, I'm thinking they always say that when you meet someone, you really have to go through every season with them.
Oh, I
Yeah, we
believe
talked-
that.
And I think
Talk
that
to-
I think that I will need to go through all of the seasons 2 or 3 times just to make sure I'm right. Are you still going to be that way in winter? Let's try again.
Yeah.
All right. What
Yes.
about next winter? Let's try again.
I just don't feel that need one way or another. I mean,
Yeah.
truly. And
Yeah.
I'm saying this because I've been with my person
Because you
for
actually
2
have a
years.
person.
Yeah. And so it's been 2 seasons with a little interruption, brief interruption. But I could roll on forever like this, or, I mean, it
Yeah. Yeah.
doesn't really mean, it doesn't really change anything. It's just I hate to say, and I'm a religious person, and I don't mean for this to sound like a non-religious viewpoint, but it doesn't change that much. Like, unless
Yeah.
it's a legal it just doesn't change that much for me. So
Yes. I get that.
there are other things that mean more to me than that
Then that
particular
part. Yes.
part. So
I get that.
anyway,
Well, all right. What are y'all doing this week to live the life you love?
well, I'm going to the beach for 2 days, 3 days,
Oh,
3
yay.
days.
Sounds so good.
And then I'm getting back we just started rehearsals for the show that I'm doing at school this summer. So it's just not the best time in the world to be going out of town, but
You'll enjoy your family
I
anyway.
enjoy-
I will. And my son's going with me, and he's going to have the best time. So that's what I'm doing. And then I'll be back at the end of the weekend. And then I have to I have a lot of work coming up. It's good work. I have the most fun job ever, but it's, it's just a lot to do in the next little while. So,
Well, I have both my children home for just a little bit. My son is home. So I'm going to try to enjoy that. And then looking forward in the next couple weeks to doing the vacation that was a bomb out last
That's
year
right.
because of the airlines debacle. But we'll see if I actually make it where I'm supposed to go. And that is what I'm looking forward to.
I love that my daughter is home. I'm enjoying working on the preparations for the rehearsal dinner and stuff for the wedding. And I'm taking an art class, a painting class. And it is a little stressful because I'm learning all this technology. I'm learning how to do Photoshop again. I haven't had to use it in a few years, and it's changed a little bit. Trying to remember how to do that. I'm learning how to use an AI tool to create some reference photos, and it's Mid-Journey, and that has been a lot more fun than I expected it to be. Like, it's a huge rabbit hole. It's called Mid-Journey. Okay. I'll show it to you after this. Okay. It's a rabbit hole. I can go down and create. Anyway, it has been a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that. That's tomorrow night. And then our new adventure that Beth and I are going on.
Oh, yeah.
Where we have agreed committed to a space in a new art venture.
That Bonnie named.
Apparently I did. Actually, what I did was I asked ChatGPT for good names for an art studio and then presented the 50 or so names that it came up with to the group, and they chose one of them.
But I like our room name too.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's coming up, and it is in my head. I'm like, it is not the right time. I'm not prepared for this. This is not exactly what I need to be doing. I am not advanced enough in my career, blah, blah, blah. And then I remember that just like having a baby, it doesn't matter. You're never ready.
You just gotta walk into
this opportunity
never the best time.
has presented itself. And so we got to go for it.
Sometimes the universe just tells you.
Yes.
It's you in the pants.
Even if it's true, sometimes the universe just goes,
and as I've started taking this
right
class,
now.
And all of a sudden I have got way more art spaces, studio spaces than I can physically use in a week.
That's okay. We discussed that. How many art spaces do you actually need, Bonnie?
Apparently 3.
There you go.
I need 3.
The magic number.
So, well, all right, ladies. I would clink if oh, there it is.
All right.
Ready?
Yes.
So,
have a
great week. Cheers. Thank y'all for joining us for Champagne Sunday.
See you next week, girls.
See you next week. Yeah, cheers.
Have a good week.
Cheers.
Yeah,
cheers.